to Ronny's Garage. We are holding Rolls-Royce Owners Club of Southern California's monthly tech meet. Today we're going to be looking at Silver Cloud 3. We're going to be resealing the steering ram up at the front, and we'll be looking the car over for numerous other leaks that I'm sure we can find. So this has a spacer on this bracket here. Never thought I'd get this close to you, John.
Yeah.
All right.
Watch that now. Watch that now.
Yeah. All right. It won't fall now.
Okay. Bam.
How come we're a bolt short? Were we missing a bolt originally? Not to worry, we have spares.
That's good, man.
Okay, we're coming down. All secure. Cotter pins in. Okay, steering reservoir and pump is on the left side of the car. Uh-oh.
We don't like that. We don't like uh-oh.
That's where the hose.
Oh, it always falls off.
It always does that? But I have a little trick that I use on the steering systems on the Clouds, especially Cloud 3. Cloud 3s tend to want to shutter a lot. When I have the system apart, I put a bottle of STP in it. What it does is it thickens up the fluid. I've had one Cloud 3, in fact, that the pump was pretty worn out, so it worked great until the car was warmed up, and then it was really hard to turn it, like it had almost no power steering. I drained the fluid and put that in it, and it works great. It's still working great. So that's my little trick. Okay, so this stuff is like honey.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't necessarily always cure the shutter. I'm not saying it does that, but it sure works nice. I've been pretty happy with what it does. And in my opinion, it's in the steering box and it's just a spool valve that has too much clearance. They have to have a certain amount of tension on them to keep them in a position. Plus, if they have too much clearance on the outside, they tend to shutter. And they had a update for these where you put a restricted fitting in there on a pressure line to reduce the volume. Sometimes that works, but it's really difficult. And I've had a lot of steering boxes apart. It's a real difficult issue, and it's only on the Cloud 3s. 2s and 1s don't do it. So that fluid doesn't move very fast. So your steering wheel's on the wrong side. So I will set the parking brake. Make sure it's in neutral. Yeah, it's because it's empty already. The system holds quite a bit of fluid. Now, when I pour this in, I usually put my hand here to keep the wind from the fan from blowing the fluid back all over.
Whoop. Threw up. Yep, it threw up.
What's happening was it wasn't pumping into the steering box, so it wasn't going to the ram. I had to force it. I don't care if it works, just as long as it doesn't leak, right? And you don't want to fill this too much. I just covered a filter. Go up to the filter. There's a filter in this thing. And we'll just let her run a while. Lift her up, look for leaks. Right up a bill.
And you have to shut it off to check for leaks? Or?
No, I'm going to leave it running. Just because I want it to run a while. Holy crap. It's dry. It looks dry, right? Yeah, so far still good, man. And all this other stuff. Looks good and dry. No more rattle either. Came in with a rattle.
Really? Missing bolt.
Any questions?
So this was pushed up into the ramp, this little plate here.
Before?
Yeah.
Yeah. It could have been. Now what happened is this upper housing was up against the sweeper.
Oh.
That's where it gets that works for it.
Well, when mine starts to leak is when I turn the car off, so that's when it...
Shouldn't
right now
leak
it shouldn't be doing it.
Huh?
It doesn't do it when it's running, it's when it stops.
Normally it won't, yeah. Quieter, Captain? It'll get even quieter after that. Sometimes if you have the steering system apart and it gets a lot of air in it and you turn the car off too soon, bubbles will come up and it'll make it burp a bunch of fluid out. So that's why I let it run a while. The fluid level looks pretty good to me. You might want to check it. But see, most of that's bubbles in there. It's got a lot of bubbles still. And as the car is driven and as it sits, they'll work their way out. But I didn't feel any shudder in yours. Not right here. But it's not warm either. That's when the fluid gets thinner. Any questions?
That one doesn't have a dipstick in it.
No, that's on the earlier ones. They had a dipstick with the small round cap.
Yeah.
All right, I guess that concludes it.
Well, so check the fluid level on it just by looking in?
Yeah,
You know,
it doesn't have a dipstick. And like I said, if you look in here, there's a filter right here. It's a paper filter. And I just bring it up to cover that, or right up to that level.
Is that something that needs to be changed, that filter?
You could do that. You can buy them. I don't think I've ever changed one, to be honest with you. Most steering pumps do not have filters. All right, that's it. Thanks for joining us.
Super.
Great.